Please like this video. It will really help this story reach as many people as possible. Thank you so much for your support. Saturday night. My one free Saturday all month, and Lauren didn't bother to look up from her phone. I stood there with my jacket on, keys in my hand, a reservation confirmed across town. Let's do a throwback, I started. Same taco place as our first date. I booked the corner table. She didn't blink. I'm tired. Tired of what? Driving your thumb. She smirked at the screen. Cute. I just want a quiet night. With me? I pushed. I said quiet. I took my jacket off, hung it, and watched her scroll like I was a coat rack. If I'd known where that button press would land us, I would have canceled the reservation and started packing that night. She was in our living room, but not with me. She sat tucked into the end of the couch, nowhere near my side. Phone tilted away, blue light washing her face. 3 months ago, the couch was for us. Now I was a roommate with lawn responsibilities. You've been on that thing for hours, I said. You working on something? That a cross-examination? It's a question. She sighed. People talk to me, Mike. I talk back. Don't make it a thing. People, I repeated. What people? Colleagues. Friends. New people from a networking group. She flicked her nails on the case. Relax. I'll relax when I see you again. You're 10 feet away, and I've been replaced by a glass rectangle. Now you're Grandpa. Grandpa used to dance, I shot back. You love that. Tonight, I don't. Tomorrow. No plans. We'll see. I sat down, not touching her, not begging. She kept typing, smiling at whatever lived in there. The laugh wasn't for me. That was new. The laugh used to be mine. Okay, I said. I'll cook. Want anything? Not hungry. I cooked anyway and ate alone at the island. Every minute she didn't ask for a plate, I moved another inch away from caring what she wanted for dinner. Sunday afternoon, I cleaned the garage and found the box where we kept our old printed photos. Lauren walked in, phone in hand, earbuds in. She pointed at the stack like it was clutter. You're not putting that on the counter. I'm deciding what to keep. We're not doing a scrapbook. You're not doing anything. I'm throwing away duplicates. I thumbed photo edges. Look at this. You used to drag me to these outdoor movies. Sweet, she said deadpan. Delete. Hard to delete paper. She rolled a wrist. Then put it somewhere. I need the counter. For what? She flashed the phone, quick. Video chat. With who, Lauren? She tensed, like I'd asked for a passport. You've gotten weird, you know that? I got attentive, I replied. Different word. Same energy. I put the photos away and washed my hands. What's his name? That's pathetic. It's precise. She snorted. 5 people messaged me today. 2 were women. 1 was a recruiter. You want to comb through it? Be my guest. She thrust the phone out. Here, read. It was a dare. I took it. Threads of small talk. How was your weekend? New project. We should connect. Nothing explicit. A guy named Blake sent a photo of a dog at a park. Another, a trainer from her gym, asked about form. She wasn't flirting in the words, not here. Her tone was neutral. I scrolled, nodding. See, she said, triumphant. It's just people. You're talking to people like you've got a second life. So what? We have one life in this house. You're controlling now? I'm observant. She took back the phone and placed its screen down, as if that made her honorable. Stop making problems. I'm allowed to talk to whoever I want. Me too, I said. Good for you. I'm also allowed to set rules for me, I added. I'm not going to sit in a living room where I am invisible. From today, I stop organizing date nights no one attends. And our monthly dining budget splits. I'll move my half to my card. That's ridiculous. It's responsible. You do what you want with your half. So you're punishing me. I'm protecting my time and money, I said. You should protect yours. She laughed like I had told a bad joke. You're being dramatic. Maybe, I said, but drama has a memory. And I'm done paying for dinners with an empty chair. She rolled her eyes, threw on a hoodie, and locked herself in the guest room for another chat. I wrote the new budget and sent a neat email to our shared account, split starting this month. If you need the spreadsheet, it's in the drive. No debate. Facts. On Monday, my coworker Mia swung by my cube with a coffee and the eyes of someone who reads people for a living. Mia's a data lead and a mom of 2 who tells the truth like a hammer. You look like you sleep on a floor. Couch, I corrected. By choice. You're not a couch person. I wasn't. I took the coffee. Thanks. She leaned on the partition. Something I should hear? I'm good. You're not, she said. What's the policy? Policy is, I don't bring the house to the office. We can share an elevator like humans. Want counsel or jokes? Counsel, I said. Short. All right. If you're being frozen out, stop standing in the freezer. Go for a walk, shut the door, move your money, move your schedule. Working on it. And don't argue feelings, she added. Set rules. People respect rules. I'm already there. Good. She tapped the desk. You're a builder. Build an exit if you need one. I nodded, filed it, and worked. In the afternoon, I looked at the family financials and made transfers. My savings into a separate account I'd had since before marriage, an account with my name only. My paycheck rerouted. No drama. Responsible architecture. That night, I told Lauren the new arrangement. She lifted an eyebrow. Why? So nothing gets confused. You pay your card, I pay mine. We split utilities. You'll get my half in advance every month. If you miss your half, we reduce services. No lectures. That's petty. No, I said, it's clean. She didn't argue more than a scoff. That told me everything. She liked the gray zone because it fed her freedom without cost. I just put walls around it. The coldness didn't lift. She existed in the house as background noise. We had 2 chairs at the table and sat in different rooms. She networked while I cooked and ate. It was like sharing space with someone waiting for a flight. She didn't even pretend to ask me about my day. 3 weeks of that, and I caught her smiling at her screen like it was a person, not a device. I came over and leaned on the doorway. What's funny? She didn't even turn. Memes. You don't laugh at memes. I do now. You're different. You're paranoid. Then tell me who it is. She locked the phone and finally looked at me. Do you hear yourself? Do you hear me asking for a name? She tilted her head, bored. If it'll shut you up, Mike, I can show you everything again. There's nothing in there. Show me later, I said. Right now, I'm setting another rule. I'm not available for late-night question sessions anymore. If you want to plan something together, send me your time by Thursday. After that, I book my weekend. That's childish. It's adult scheduling. No surprises. No last minute. Let's do something texts when you're bored. She gave me a slow clap. Congratulations. You just made yourself less available to your own wife. You already did that, I said. I'm just acknowledging it. Then came her first soft turn. Friday, she came into my workshop corner in the garage while I was tightening a vise. She put her phone away. That was the headline. Dinner? She asked. My treat. I looked up. Now. I had a rough week. Let me make it up to you. She set a hand on the bench. No affection, just proximity. What changed? You want me to beg? I want clarity. I'm trying, she said, voice low. Can we have one night without this? She fluttered a hand toward the phone-shaped hole between us. I wiped my hands on a rag. Where? She named a place she knew I liked. My guard noted the timing. Right after the budget split, right after I stopped planning. I said yes, with conditions. House rule, I said, locking the garage. No phones at the table. If it buzzes, it waits. She nodded. Sure. And one more? We actually talk. We always talk. No, I said. I talk. You comment. She tried to smile. I'm here, aren't I? Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still listening, please hit the like button on this video. It really helps YouTube show this story to more people. Thank you so much for the support. Now let's get back to the story. At the restaurant, we sat near the window. She put her phone face down, then stacked it on top of mine like a symbol. For a while, it felt like the old us. She asked about a client I was dealing with, even remembered the name. I loosened. I allowed myself to think maybe she'd felt the wall and didn't like it. Midway through the second course, a buzz. She flinched and went for the phone before catching herself. Emergency? I asked. No. Then it waits. Right. We got through dinner and walked to the lot. She slipped her arm around mine. It had wait again. I raised my eyebrows. What? She said, amused. Is contact illegal now? Contact is evidence. Of what? That there's something to keep. It almost worked on me. Back home, she made tea and asked if I wanted to watch a movie. We made it 20 minutes in before she remembered something and excused herself. 20 minutes later, the bathroom fan hummed and light leaked under the guest room door. She was back on the grid. I let the movie run to the credits, stood, and went to my office. If she needed a digital fantasy, I could give her one. Not to punish, to verify. The next morning, I created another person. Not me with a hat. A clean build. James Walker. Nice profile picture. Suit. Skyline. Good light. Believable. Nothing flashy. Job. Independent consultant. Frequent travel. Interests. Bookstores. City parks. Running along the river. No specific brand names. I connected him to a few mutual acquaintances through groups. Easy to fake with public events. I sent a request to Lauren. No message. Within minutes, James had an incoming DM. New in town, she wrote. Back and forth, I answered. Mostly New York. Work or play? Work, when I'm honest. You. Denver native, she said. Family there. I stared at the word family. That was her cover story anywhere outside our house. Daughter, helpful, busy. She rolled that out for everyone. New York has its charm, I sent. Denver has the better sky. You sound like a brochure. Guilty, I typed. Where do you get coffee around here? She sent recommendations. I watched her energy unfold. With James, she asked questions. She actually listened. She remembered details. In hours, she gave more attention to a stranger than I'd had in weeks. That night, in real life, she barely spoke. James got paragraphs. I got night. For 3 days, I kept it clinical. Questions, a joke here, a photo of a book on a table from a stock library no one would trace. She rushed to respond. Mornings, lunch breaks, late evenings. On day 4, she sent, You seem grounded. Refreshing. What does that mean? Most guys are thirsty. I like water, I sent. She sent a laughing emoji and a selfie in the car, careful angle. I put the phone down and stared at our kitchen clock. I had wanted to be wrong. This just told me to stop hoping. At home, she sauntered through the hallway with a plate. Your movie night special, she said lightly, leaving it near my keyboard. First gesture in weeks. Thanks. You're working late, she added. I'm lining things up, I said. Makes the ending clean. What ending? The week, I said. She shrugged and left. We hit 2 weeks of James. The more I pulled back in the house, the more she poured herself into the screen. She started sending him little day fragments. We've got rain today. Boss is impossible. My trainer said I improved. With me, she communicated requests. Pick up paper towels. Don't forget the bill. I'm in a call. Keep it down. On a Thursday, James asked if she liked New York. She wrote a paragraph about energy and opportunity and how people there decide what they want and go. I could hear her mouth shaping the fantasy. Come visit, I typed. I host friends all the time. There was a pause. On the couch next to me, the top of her head didn't move. Then the reply came in. Would you actually want that? I don't invite people I don't want to see. Bold, she wrote. I like bold. I like clear. She double-tapped the message. A tiny liked at the bottom. In our house, I couldn't get a full sentence. For James, she tapped hearts. That night, I called my oldest friend, Nate, who has a small place in Queens and a larger network of favors. We went to college together. He knows when to talk and when to just do what I ask. You want a place for a month? He said. No questions asked. No questions now, I said. You'll understand when I tell you the story over whiskey. And yes, I know I owe you one. I've got a 1-bedroom that's between tenants. Friends building. Not fancy, clean, keys under the mat if I tell them. Perfect, I said. I'll mail you an envelope. Put it on the kitchen table. Label it with her name. You're scaring me a little. I'm saving us both time, I said. You got it, he said. Anything else? Leave the fridge empty. I don't want her thinking someone lives there. He made a noise. You're a precise man, Mike. That's the whole point. The next morning, I filed the divorce papers. No theater, no guilt. I scanned them for my records and mailed a signed set to Nate. Then I started taking screenshots. Not 1 or 2. The entire James thread, timestamped, indexed. I didn't have to twist anything. It told the story just fine. I'm not a detective. I'm an engineer. Documentation matters. Saturday, I set my public boundary. We had a barbecue at our neighbor's place. Frank and Dana on one side, younger couple across the street with a new baby. We stood in a ring on the patio while Frank burned burgers the way he always does. Lauren drifted off every few minutes to check work. Dana, who notices everything, nudged me. She okay? She's busy, I said. I'm adapting. At one point, Lauren came back to the group in the middle of a story. She interrupted me mid-sentence to ask if someone had a charger. Frank chuckled. You're among adults. Put it down for an hour. It's important, she said. I raised my voice just enough for the circle. New rule in our house, I said. Phones face down at meals and when we're with people. If you can't follow it, you excuse yourself. Lauren blinked at me, surprised I'd said it out loud. She smirked like she didn't care, then said, "Excuse me," and walked inside. The group went quiet. Dana leaned in. You all right? I'm good, I said. I won't live in a hallway where I have to wave for attention. Frank said, That's a heavy sentence, man. It's polite, I said. I didn't chase her. I let the rule hang in the air, clear as a bell. That night, she did the second soft turn. She came into the bedroom with a plate of cut fruit and put it on my nightstand. You're making enemies at neighborhood cookouts, she teased. I'm stating norms, I said. People felt it. I gave it words. She sat on the edge of the bed. I know I've been somewhere else. I'm trying to fix it. How? Time with you. No interruptions. We could take a trip. One night. I'll plan it. When? Next Sunday. Text it to me by Thursday, I said. Lock it in. She bent to kiss my cheek. The gesture was new, carefully chosen. I appreciated the effort for exactly what it was, an effort to keep the door open on her terms while she kept me on the hook. I didn't push it away. I didn't lean into it. I noted it like a man checks the weather and still grabs an umbrella. Back on the phone, James escalated. I escalated him. It wasn't a show anymore. It was a mirror. You're fascinating, she wrote on Monday. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. Because I listen, I typed. I haven't felt seen in a while. I see you, I wrote. She sent. I want to meet. No coyness this time. 5 words, full stop. Come to New York, I typed. Work has me pinned. I'll book you a place. All you do is arrive. You don't have to pay. I insist, I wrote. We'll make it easy. Okay, she answered. Tell me when. We discussed dates. She pushed for soon. I set the address, the same one Nate had secured. I gave her the apartment number, told her the key would be under the mat. I made the promise I needed to make to expose the truth. I'll be there, she wrote. I can't wait. In our living room, she looked like someone who'd gotten great news and was trying not to float. She kept her tone flat with me, but her eyes were alive in a way they hadn't been for me in months. A man notices what lights his wife up. Mine was lit by the wrong fire. After setting the meeting, I increased the pace. I stopped pretending anyone was innocent. James got direct. No coded lines. I asked questions only a person with clear intent would ask. She matched me. She sent a message one night that said, I'm counting hours. If she had sent that to me even once in the last half year, we wouldn't be here. I answered as James, I'll be waiting. I booked myself 2 nights in a cheap hotel 20 minutes from the address, an alibi location I'd never need. Then I shipped Lauren's suitcases to her mother in Denver. Cleaned out her side of the closet and packed what mattered. I labeled boxes by room and wrote a note to the movers. Delivered to Mrs. Carter, signed and dated. No anger, just logistics. On Wednesday, she came into the kitchen with a plastic smile. I need to go to Denver this weekend, she announced. My mom hasn't been feeling well. I hope she feels better. I'll help her with some cabinets. Good of you. You don't mind? I don't control what you do, I said. Text me your flight so I know the house is empty. She paused, studying me. That's it. No questions. None that you would answer, I said. Safe travels. You're being weird. I'm being easy. She tested me. If something comes up, I might stay longer. Stay as long as you need. I took out my wallet, removed a spare card she used for groceries, and placed it on the table. Housekeeping note. Since you're traveling, I'll take over the basics while you're away. Your half of utilities will be due on the 1st like always. Wow, she said. You're really leaning into this new version of you. I'm leaning into clarity. I walked past her and put my jacket on the hook. Call me when you land. She left the house that night with a small suitcase and a face so bright. I almost felt sorry for what the truth would do to it. Almost. On the drive, she messaged James constantly, sending little updates. On my way. Boarding. You won't believe how nervous I am. Her husband, got taking off with a plane emoji. That contrast ended any debate in my head about whether I was being too harsh. When someone gives a stranger all the color and you the margins, the story is already over. Back home, I stacked the last box in the hallway. I printed the tracking numbers to Denver and taped them to an envelope on the counter. I sat by the window and waited for my phone to vibrate with New York. She arrived in the city the next afternoon. I could see the timestamps and read her tone like she was speaking in the room. Landed, she sent to James. This feels crazy. In a good way. It feels honest, I wrote. Text me when you're at the address. 20 minutes. Then, at the door. Key under the mat like you said. Let yourself in, I typed. My chest had nothing left to break. She sent a selfie immediately. Inside. Smile bright. Hair brushed for a new chapter. The caption, I'm here. Waiting for you. I called her on my phone, my number, not James. It rang twice. She answered, compressed voice like she had to push me through her teeth. Hi. Hey. I'm in Denver, she said. Just got to my mom's, but I can't talk. She's resting. Your mom won't be there, I said. Silence. Then, flat, what? She isn't coming. What are you talking about? The person you've been messaging, I said. Your Skyline friend. That was me. I heard two things. The sound of a chair leg scrape and her breath hitch. Not dramatic, but real. She walked into the kitchen. I could tell by the echo. Mike, she started. Stop. Your mom left you a letter on the kitchen table, I said. It has your name on it. Open it. I listened to her footsteps cross tile. A pause. The rip of paper. Then the catch. The soft drop that comes when someone understands that the game is over. She saw the divorce papers, my signature, the date, the empty apartment around her. She tried to regain her voice. You set me up. I set a mirror, I said. You did the rest. You lied to me. I answered the question you refused to answer. What you do when given the man you prefer. You did it. Quickly. You don't know what I was going to do. You were there, I said, with a suitcase of excuses and a phone full of promises. You wrote that you couldn't wait. I believed you. You had no right. I have every right to draw a line in my house, I said. And when you stepped across it, I had the right to end it. She started to cry, not theatrical. Angry. You tricked me. I told you the rules when we were still fixable. You picked the phone. You picked a stranger. You picked movement over us. You made me feel unseen. I made dinner, I said. You made plans somewhere else. You're cruel. No, I said. I'm finished. I let a beat sit there. Don't come back. She snapped. Excuse me? Your things are on their way to your mother, I said. Check the tracking numbers. You won't need the key. It doesn't fit anymore. You can't just. I can, I said. And I did. It's simple. You want it out. This is out. Clean. You're punishing me because I talk to people. You were auditioning my replacement, I said. And you picked one. Congratulations. He's no longer available. You're disgusting. You picked a ghost and wrote poetry to it, I said. I'm not here to be insulted by someone who just booked a trip to another man's apartment. I won't argue. We're done. She went quiet. Then the line clicked and died. I sent one last message from James. Don't come back to my house. The apartment is paid for 1 month. Use it to plan your next step. After that, you're on your own. I blocked her on both accounts. Then I turned off my phone for an hour and sat in the clean silence of a home that suddenly belonged to me again. A week passed. She didn't come back. Friends who knew both of us texted me vague check-ins. I answered neutral. I went out most evenings with Nate on video, with Mia and a couple of guys from work for burgers, with Frank once for a ball game. I told the story to the people who had earned the right to hear it. They reacted the way you'd expect. Shock, then a slow grin at the precision. Mia raised a glass. That, she said, is an exit. Clean enough. I asked. I could eat off it, she said. Frank shook his head. You're a cold operator. I'm warm with people who act like people, I said. 2 weeks later, my phone lit up with a Denver number I knew. Her mother. We've had coffee together at holidays. A practical woman with a polite tone. Michael, she said, no hello. What on earth happened? Hi, Janet. She showed up here with boxes and a story I can't repeat without sounding unhinged. She says you were unfaithful to her and then dumped her. Did she show you any proof? She showed me a blank screen, deleted messages, and she cried. Do you want the facts? I asked. I'm not avoiding them. Yes, she said. Please. I told her the short version. Not the color, not the jokes. The record, the ignoring, the phone, the mirror, the apartment, the letter. I offered to send the screenshots. She didn't say no. Send them, she said after a pause, voice different. I need to see what you're saying. I need to talk to her like an adult. I sent a compressed file with dates. 10 minutes later, she called back and didn't bother to hide the hit. I'm sorry, she said. I'm embarrassed for her. I'm embarrassed I doubted you for a second. You don't owe me an apology. I do, she said. You treated her well for years. I watched it. I don't know who she thinks she is lately, but it's not someone I raised. She'll figure it out, I said. What do you need from me? She asked. Nothing, I said. I already put the last box on your porch. Keep what's hers. If she wants the rest, I'll ship it where she asks. Otherwise, I'm done. Understood, she said. I wish you a better life. Me too. I hung up, opened the windows, and took a slow walk to the river. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt correct. That's enough. The thing about moving on is you don't need to shout about it. You just do it. I changed the locks without a speech. I canceled the streaming packages she'd insisted on and didn't watch. I left the spare room empty and bought a new table I wanted years ago but postponed because she hated the style. I called my brother and said yes to a fishing weekend I declined twice. I texted Nate a photo of the new living room with the caption, Phase 2. Phase beer, he replied. Mia introduced me to a friend of hers named Claire at a little place near the office one Thursday. We met for lunch. No fireworks, no scripts. Just a woman who manages a nonprofit and laughs with her whole face. We didn't talk about my past. We talked about how she rebuilt a team after a rough year. Competence is attractive. Calm is better. We kept it casual. I took my time. A month later, I rolled into New York for a weekend, met Nate at the corner spot he likes, and told him the long version over a sandwich. He listened, then leaned back. She really flew in for a person who didn't exist. She existed less with me at home than she did with my fake profile. He shook his head. You could write manuals. I did, I said. Just not for this. He raised his drink. To never explaining what you can demonstrate. I clinked his glass. To that. In the months after, the updates came secondhand. Lauren was staying with her mother for a while. She had quit her job, then tried a new one. Nothing stuck. She messaged old friends with different stories. Some reached out to me to confirm details. I sent none. People can build their own timelines. I had nothing to defend. By then, I had a different rhythm. I woke up early to run along the water before work. I rebuilt the deck with my hands and my music on a small speaker. I took trips when I said I would and didn't explain them. Claire and I kept seeing each other, slow and steady. She asked good questions and never once set a timer for our conversations. When we sat together, neither of us reached for our phones. One evening, we drove out of the city line to her friend's farm stand, picked up a bag of peaches, and sat on the tailgate of my truck while the sun dropped behind the trees. Claire looked over at me and said, "You're very calm." I got tired of noise. "I like quiet," she said. "Me too. I don't craft epilogues to make myself a hero. I don't need to be. I'm a man who saw the lines move, drew my own, and stepped over them. The house is mine now, not as a victory, just as my space. The friends are still here, not out of pity, but respect. And the woman who used to be my wife? She made her choices in fluorescent blue on a screen bright enough to blind. When she walked into that apartment in New York and sent that picture to a man she wanted, she wrote the ending with her own hand. In the kitchen drawer, I still have the envelope Nate set on that table. I kept the copy as a piece of paper that says I don't chase ghosts. I don't chase attention. I hold my rules. When someone treats me like background, I stop playing music for them. The last thing I told Lauren on the phone, "Don't come back," wasn't a threat or a performance. It was the final, simple instruction of a man who decided that respect is required, not requested. She didn't come back, and I didn't wait at the door. Our story has come to an end. If you've made it this far, how about subscribing to our channel? It helps us immensely. I've selected 2 other videos for you that I'm sure you'll enjoy. Feel free to click on them. I'll be waiting for you in the next story. See you soon.